And it's noon. Hey, it's Wei from the Six Figure Academy, and welcome to another Happy Snack at Noon. If this is your first time joining us, then welcome. This is the weekly little snack tidbit live on our YouTube channel where we help people increase their money flow, optimize their mindset, and more importantly, create a lifestyle of happiness. And this happy snack is designed to give you a little bit of something to snack on for the week to think about. So that's why we do it on a weekly basis. It's short, sweet, straight to the point. Speaking of which, today's episode, if you notice, we've got a little bit of change of scenery. I have moved. But today's episode is about how to be rich. Now, at some point in our lives, we have probably asked that question. We have probably queried ourselves as, how do I become rich? And the reason why that question often goes unanswered or often becomes a lifelong endeavor of constantly asking that question, God, how do I be rich? How do I be rich? How do I be rich? Goes back to a lot of the principles that we talk about all the time with our students, our clients, and even here on the Happy Snack channel. And it's not quite as complicated as everybody tries to make it out to be. How to be rich starts with first defining what rich is. This reminds me a lot of growing up. I still remember a cartoon watching, this might date myself, called Richie Rich, which was all about this kid that had more money than anything because he had access to the family's riches. But what he did was he used those riches for his purpose of doing things around the world and having a good old time, but also helping people, solving problems, and that type of thing, which is actually a pretty good message. At least that's what I got from it. That's what I recall. Well, anyway. So over time, our culture and our society has defined rich to be only related to money. So let's look at the true definition of what rich actually is. When you look it up on, just Google it, okay, and type in rich and look at the definition. And I'm looking at it right here, and it says the first definition, of course, is having a great deal of money or assets, wealthy. What I'm more concerned with, or what I like to look at, is the second definition to rich, which is plentiful, abundant. And we hear it being used that way all the time. Soil is rich of resources and nutrients, rich of things, it's a rich environment. Doesn't necessarily mean it's an opulent environment full of money and things, but rich in an abundance of things. And so depending on what you are looking to achieve, when you ask the question, more importantly, ask yourself how to be rich. First of all, you want to choose the definition that best serves you. In my world, in our world here at the Six Figure Academy, it's all about abundance. It's all about prosperity flow, which is a lot more than just money. It's about happiness. It's about what money is a part of when we're talking about high flow of what it is that you want and desire in this world. So depending on how you define how to be rich is going to impact whether or not you can answer that question and whether or not you can get to be rich in happiness, rich in life, or just rich in money. Whatever you choose to define, make sure you define with a lot of specificity. Because the biggest reason why when people have to keep asking themselves, how do I be rich? How do I become more rich? And then they don't get it, it's because their definition of rich is very nebulous. And so when you want to move away from this struggle of constantly asking how to be rich, you want to first take the time to find out what it is that you mean by rich. And then after you define what rich is, then go into more detail and define what a rich life for you, specifically you, would look like. What would it be like? And then when you take the time and invest the time to define those things, that's when you start to increase the probability of achieving that richness. Okay? So to answer the question, how to be rich? Well, first, what does rich mean to you? What does rich look like in your life? And then when you actually get clear with what that is, the answer is actually quite simple. It's exactly what it is that is, or what strategies that you need to put together to achieve what you've defined. when we can't answer that question, and when we're looking for the answers to that question and it seems difficult to find, it's because we didn't define the terms clear enough to make it easy for ourselves to create strategies and tactics to get there. What happens is a lot of times people will go jump on strategies and tactics first because other people, this is how you get rich, this is how you get rich. And then they go do it and then they get there, or they don't get there. Either way, they sit there and go, I feel a little empty. This doesn't feel like rich. I'm either burnt out and I have a lot of money, or I don't have a lot of money and I am burnt out as well. Right? So that's why we keep asking that question. So if you are scratching your head and wondering about, how do I become more rich, or how do I become rich? Whether it be just starting with money, rich with money, so that you can use that money for getting what you want and desire in life, or it's just richness in life and everything that you want. Start there, define that, get clear on the details of what it uniquely looks like for you. Because like, for example, if you live in one place and someone else lives in a different place, already the definition of rich is different. And so once you define those terms, the answer is going to be pretty simple and straightforward to you. Okay. If, for example, you define richness as being able to go out for a walk every single day, go out to the beach every single day, or go out for a hike in the mountains every single day, and you want it to be in your front doorstep, then already here's a strategy. Find a way, put things together, structure your lifestyle so that your goals of living in the mountains, living by the beach, living in an area that helps you facilitate that richness of life that you're seeking can be done the way you define it to be. For example, years ago, I made a commitment to myself that every time I moved, I would move closer and closer to the ocean. Well, right now I live by the ocean. I just moved again. So to stay with that commitment, I simply moved along the coast. So I moved up the ocean a little bit, but I'm still by the ocean. Why? Because I love having access to the ocean. I play beach volleyball. And so my commitment to the richness of life that I wish to have is to make sure that I commit to these different strategies or tactics to make sure that I stay in alignment with what I define as richness for me. So everybody's definition of rich is different. And so one of the reasons why it's hard to find is because we haven't defined it yet. Okay, so I think that's good enough for our happy snack for this week. If you have questions about defining richness, or if you're getting stuck, comment below. I check the comments and would love to kind of see what you're at. Or if you already have a definition of what rich is, would love to hear that as well. If this video resonated with you, give me a thumbs up. If it didn't resonate with you, just give it a thumbs down. Either way, it's feedback, because that's exactly what I need and what we need here to try to provide the best content for you. And if you have an idea of a happy snack in the future that you would love to hear about, go put it in the comments below as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. Other than that, I'm going to get back to unpacking because I just moved. But I wanted to commit to make sure I showed up for our weekly happy snack. And so I will see you next week for next week's happy snack at noon on Wednesday, Pacific Standard Time. All right. So other than that, I'll see you guys later.